Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the broadcast here. The Star Ladder I-League Star Series American Qualifying Action coming at you. And our first of three two-game series, of course, going to be happening. So 6 games in total. Looking forward to another fun night ahead of us here. And we're kicking it off with a great one, of course, Team NP taking on Infamous in this 2-game series. So we'll see what happens here. I am Breaky CPK, and I'm going to be joined by my co-caster for this series here, CCNC. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. Ready to watch some NA Dotes.
That's the plan. Well, it's NA and South America Dotes, to be fair.
South America's NA. Let's be real. It's all NA Dotes.
Okay, yeah. I'm still learning the ropes over here. So okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, no, Infamous though, of course, one of the most noticeable, if not the kind of top dogs in the South American region down there, and especially with the whole talk of the major qualifiers coming up, them even getting their own qualifier of sorts. So they're kind of the team to beat. It feels like down there. Now, when it comes to matching up against teams like Team NP, they could beat them, but I think you have to favor Team NP in the end. So that would be my guy. What about you? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think NP is just a tier above. They have more experienced players. They've actually been to some lands. They've been a team for longer than this current Infamous roster, and overall, they just have players that most people consider a higher caliber.
Yeah. Well, here we are with the draft underway, and definitely some interesting stuff to already talk about. Now, first things first, I want to mention this. Ember Spirit, the first pick, I kind of been looking at some stats, just doing a little bit of research here for the American region specifically. Ember Spirit is 13-1 in this region, in this tournament. It's a pretty crazy record to me, and Infamous now has it here. Does that surprise you?
I feel like NP had an answer for it, or maybe they were sort of experimenting, knowing that, hey, we could probably beat these guys even with maybe a little bit unorthodox of a draft, having like some confidence still going in, giving them the Ember Spirit, and then just trying out some like counters for it. So the Invoker, a mid hero that's been picked a decent amount versus if you go the Qualifier, you can always Tornado off the shield, and if you go the Exort, you can totally crush him in lane with Alacrity and like shut him down early. So either way, both the Invoker builds do pretty well versus hero. As the game goes later and later, though, Ember starts to come online, and Invoker does a little bit less, but then also picking up the Doom. So it purges off his shield whenever you do Doom him. And the hero is very reliant on spells to survive, so we'll force him to go for a Linken's most probably this game. And I'm curious to see like how this pick works out, because it is very good versus the Ember, but Doom just as a hero is kind of hard to lane and just weird to fit into a lineup.
It feels like, yeah, he's very just roam heavy. So we actually have seen Doom a couple of times. I want to say both from Team Freedom, if I'm not mistaken. They've ran it over there and really in that 4 position, running around the map, trying to get kills that way, getting a mud golem early on, throwing some rocks at people. So, yeah, we'll see what this Doom decides to do, as you mentioned. So maybe it can be a little bit awkward. But Rubik in response from Infamous, it seems like Infamous, they're going much more of the standard and yet a strong draft here.
Yeah, Rubik, just an overall good hero. The magic resistance is nice versus Doom. You can also steal the Doom. You can steal Scorched Earth, another really nice steal. Steal a lot of Invoker spells, and it's just a strong support hero overall. I don't think anything too surprising with the Rubik picking up the second pick, but I'm really curious about how this Doom pick is going to play out, because people have been experimenting. I think Freedom has run it safe lane a few times, so maybe NP taking a page from their book and going to give it to Aoi. And do like the safe lane Doom, and they may do more of the roaming Doom, giving it to Rose. They could even try offlane Doom. There's a lot of places this hero can go, but all of them are sort of, it's just kind of weird to fit him into any lane, because he isn't particularly amazing anything. There are times where you're like, his skill set is really, really good, but the hero just as a hero feels underwhelming a lot of times. Kind of low on damage, requires like a lot of lockdown on the rest of his team so he can actually chase people down and get his damage off. So We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, going to be fun. Always fun to have kind of a unique hero. And again, especially with the second pick, you got to feel that Team NP, they're obviously very confident with it, perhaps even doing some practicing with it. I'm sure you don't pick it up second like that without at least a little bit of preparation. So also, kind of interesting looking back at this too, the fact that both teams end up getting their middle hero with their very first picks. It's not often that happens, the Ember versus the Invoker here, but that's the case, so we'll see how that matchup works out. The fourth ban even, there we go. It's going to be an Underlord, and now the third pick for Team NP. So they continue things. So, yeah, Doom, you mentioned, really not sure exactly where to see it. Okay, well, we are going to see a Centaur here, so does that give you any more answers, or?
Not really. NP's draft is pretty ambiguous still. They run Centaur a couple of times for MSS. Typically, they give the Centaur to Aoi. It's a safe lane Centaur. I think it also is a pretty good core matchup with the Invoker because Invoker, if you go for that Exort build, it's more farm heavy. It's more farm heavy build, and so you typically want a less farm intensive safe laner. So the Centaur sort of fits that bill. Like we saw in a couple of the Freedom games, the Sunstrike Centaur combo is a lot of bursts, good bursts. You know, most heroes you can just sort of jump them and blow them up. And Stampede overall, or the Centaur overall, is just a pretty good hero. But Ember Spirit is you're very tanky. You build, Hood, you build Vanguard, and so you're sort of this impenetrable force that the Ember can't really like just go and lock onto because you'll get stomped and double edged and your shield's all the way gone. So yeah, MP just building this very, very tanky, hard to fight into 5-man lineup. And Infamous with the Lifestealer now, no vehicle yet. So I kind of wonder if Infamous will actually be able to take the fight into NP's heroes.
I am looking. Slardar is not banned yet, and he seems to pair up very well with the Lifestealer, and obviously just a good offlane option. So that right off the bat would be one that I would think. Sand King also not banned yet, so a couple of options there. Not Earth Spirit I wasn't expecting, but they go Earth Spirit. Okay, so they're going to wait for their offlane to finish, but again, I don't know if you necessarily consider Earth Spirit to be a transport for Lifestealer. I guess it could be, the barrel roll.
Yeah, you can be in some of like the earlier fights using the roll. As the game goes later and later, though, you typically want a hero with a blink to transport the Lifestealer because just having that rolling boulder in as your primary initiation isn't super consistent. The Earth Spirit will give them a chance to like win these lanes, so if it is an Exort Invoker, they'll have to be very careful that he's getting rolled on and the Ember Spirit has like kill potential there. But I really worry for this Lifestealer. He's going to be able to have an impact this game because there's a Centaur, the Stampede, very good versus the Open Wounds, Dazzle, Grave, as well as Weave, extremely good versus Lifestealer. One of the better heroes in the game versus Lifestealer, and in general, just versus this jump-in, burst-one hero style. And MP's 5-man is very strong. Their lanes are very strong as well. I'm curious what what Infamous pulls off for the last pick to try and shore this up and maybe give them a chance to fight up against NP's lineup.
Yeah, they got their one ban now. Batrider taken away by Team NP. As again, you think they're going to be running that or getting an off lane with their final pick, of course, with the lineup that they have. So as far as what they're banning against Team NP, I guess it really comes down to what you expect. Maybe the Centaur to be ran. You mentioned Aoi seems like he plays it, and if they're aware of that, then okay, they banned Faceless. Interesting, not a very popular hero, but perhaps NP has history playing it. Can't say for sure, but not a typical ban there. So now comes their offlane hero to choose here.
Yeah, it's I think the Void ban is pretty good. NP needs, or they kind of want a slightly more farm intensive offlaner. If the Centaur is in the safe lane, they can use a little bit more right click. The Chrono is very good versus all of their heroes, as Infamous has 0 saves. And if you don't have a lineup with saves on your team, you really don't want to play against just like this Chrono that you can just never fight into because NP's team fight is already like their 5-man walk down lanes is just so strong, and Infamous really has a hard time fighting into it with the Chrono on top of that. There's really no way they can ever contest them when NP just walks up these towers.
5 seconds
remaining.
remaining.
It definitely seems like, again, the more that reliable transport, somebody with a blink, something like that Slaughter or the Sand King or a Brewmaster, apparently. Okay, Infamous going the Brewmaster. We saw a little bit of Brewmaster at the Dota Pit tournament that happened last weekend, but can't say I saw that one coming. Does that surprise you?
It's a little surprising, but I think it's a pretty good pick. A hero that's known for just having some extremely strong team fight early on in the game, and hero that you just kind of like to avoid, but it's not really what MP wants to do. MP wants to take the fight to Infamous, get like a really good early start, and just start, walking down these towers. Their Dazzle, Centaur, Invoker probably going to go Exort this game, and the Brewmaster actually gives them a fighting chance in these fights early on if he can get a good early start. Maybe he can even get to a quick Blink Dagger, although I feel like his lane may be a little too rough for that. The Earth Spirit may roll in and help him in this off lane. It may also go for an aggro tri lane, but I don't know if you can aggro tri into a Centaur, Dazzle, maybe Doom. MP's lane's still ambiguous. They do have over a minute to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah. All right, the final pick now for Team NP, so obviously plenty of time. As you mentioned, it's really nothing very certain as far as what they're going to do here, so going to try to catch us off guard maybe as well as Infamous here with this final pick. But again, a lot of things could still happen here, it feels like. This final pick.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I feel like this Doom is a Rose hero. He typically plays these slightly unorthodox roaming heroes. He play like the roaming PA whenever that was really popular, or he's picks Mirana roaming a lot in pubs. Not to say that hero is super uncommon, but not the most typical roaming hero. So it looks like it's going to be the offlane Centaur, the Ursa for Aoi, and the 4 Doom for Rose. So I really like this Ursa pickup a lot. It gives them a really, it gives them a pretty good matchup versus Brewmaster in lane. Gives them a lot of kill potential there, and makes it to where the safe lane is basically just, it's not really contestable. You can't really just mess around with an Ursa, because they'll just hit you back. Good versus the Lifestealer, just as far as a core versus core matchup goes. And also pretty good versus the Ember Spirit, as you can purge off his chains with your ultimate. And also once you get a Basher, you can kill him just basically in one stun, unless his Ember Spirit is up to some HP items. So overall, a pretty good pick. And they just have a lot of these tanky heroes. Their farm may be a little bit more evenly split this game. The Doom maybe getting some more items. The Centaur, just overall, I think I favor NP's lineup. Their 5-man is just so strong. Their lanes are really good, and I wonder if this Lifestealer is actually going to be able to have the impact you want a Lifestealer to have.
Yeah. All right, for me, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this Doom does. You pick up a hero like that in that second spot, you're kind of going over that. It could be a little risky. Maybe the hero individually is all right, but as far as building that lineup around it and making it work, that's kind of the question mark. So, of course, NP confident, though, with that second pick, and so we'll see how Rose is able to perform on it, playing more of that roaming in that 4 role as mentioned. But also, of course, the Brewmaster in the hands of Valkyria and how he's able to perform. Again, there's been a couple of appearances of Brewmaster, as we mentioned, the Dota Pit Land most noticeably a week and a half ago or whatever it was, and had some decent play time there, but ultimately, still not a popular hero, one that a little surprising to see even. But he is going to be shaping up in the off lane, it looks like. Will be matched up against, for now, that short lane Ursa, being played by Aoi, as you mentioned. And, yeah, so it looks like the lanes, maybe nothing too crazy happening, at least just yet, as far as the setups go. Pretty expected.
Yeah, the Ursa pick also gives them the potential to just do dual lanes, so have this Doom play more on the top lane, picking a very strong laner for down here, because you don't want a Brewmaster to have a super good early start, get a crazy fast level 6, get a Blink Dagger at a reasonable timing. So it lets this Dazzle be down here, most probably do pulls or whatever. They could also go for an aggro Triliners. It looks like SVG is positioned up here, but he does have a TP, so may TP back down to bottom after starting here. We'll have to see, but they do have at least the potential. Okay, so it looks like he's going to be Dazzle going up top with the Centaur, while Rose just doing his own thing, and Aoi more or less 1v1 down here versus the Brewmaster, with maybe some the Doom roaming in for a couple kills here and there.
You think Brewmaster is going to be fine with that? I mean, Doom potentially going to be roaming out of the jungle, as mentioned, and you mentioned Ursa in the lane. He can hit pretty hard, so is Brewmaster going to be able to survive against that? I guess he is a pretty beefy here on the Drunken Haze, Drunken Brawler passive even, so.
Yeah, he may go for an early point, and the W actually gets it at level 1. So it's going to make it quite hard for Aoi to actually get the Fury Swipe stacks up against the Brewmaster, but he's going to have such a hard time last hitting versus the Ursa, I think. It shouldn't be the worst thing in the world because of that the Drunken Haze. So yeah, I think the spot lane shouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Infamous. I think they're okay with how this lane is.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how, Brewmaster was picked, and then obviously Ursa in response to it. It seems like Brewmaster, because of that W and just the mischance in general, seems like a pretty good tool against somebody like an Ursa. So saying they shouldn't have picked up Ursa because of that, but it just so happens to be a nice benefit with the Brewmaster pick at least. But top lane, Urspear was rotating up here. He started harassing a little bit, but you see Dazzle, he's just really keeping his distance and letting MSS in the front lines kind of be the tank that he is, and say if they want to fight, they're going to have to jump him. And then Dazzle, of course, there to support. So this 2 versus 3 lane feels like NP's pretty confident that they can make it work, actually. Are you pretty confident that they should be fine up here?
Yeah, until Infamous has some levels on their supports, level 3, level 4 on this Rubik, he has a couple points in Fade Bolt, so they have a couple points in Kick. They really just don't have kill potential here. The Dazzle can constantly shove the lane in with Shadow Wave, because he does have 2 Clarities, and they can pull this hard camp. Just continue to do this over and over again. The Centaur with a poor man shield is just too tanky, really, to take down. The Lifestealer only with 2 tangos left as well. So
yeah,
this lane, could be going very poorly for Infamous before too long. And it is a 2v3 as well. So the Ursa having a great time down bottom. The Brewmaster forced to go to jungle. He only started with 1 tango in the lane, getting burnt out very quickly. Aoi picking up the early move. So it's going to be basically a free lane for this Ursa for now, as Rose sort of playing around, threatening a kill, messing with him in the jungle. So the lane's going, having a very good start for MP early on, other than this mid lane, which is, been a little bit Ember favorites so far. But once the phase boots get online for the Invoker, it starts, going into his favor.
Oh, Saisuk right there going for the Syrian chain. It's not going to connect on Eternal MP. Not really going to be a kill, but just simply trying to harass as much as he can. But yeah, as you mentioned, Ember Spirit definitely having a much better time, but we'll keep an eye on those phase boosts picked up and how that perhaps enhances his potential at that middle lane matchup. Meanwhile, at the top lane, the jungle pull happening, and seems like MSS and SVG going to run in there and make sure they get those last hits. Middle lane, they're diving Eternal Envy, and that will be a kill, actually. Earth Spirit, he went in there initially, it looks like, and then Taitsuk able to help finish off the job right there with the first blood. So that's a big start for Infamous in the middle lane.
Yeah, he's going to miss almost an entire wave. Rose at least does come in and pick up the range group's XP, but they get the turnaround kill here. Is no mana on Kataro, one last hit should do it, and yeah, it does go down. So at the very least, he get the turnaround kill. And with that time where he's down, he should be able to finish up his phase boots. That's all we find here, but it is a nice pick-me-up kill for Infamous. This Earth Spirit really needed to find a place where he could do something, so he gets a kill, makes something happen, and just sort of ditches his top lane. So they're sort of resigning this lane to MP getting a whole lot out of this lane, because there's not really that much they can do. Their supports are pretty weak early on. In fact, a lot of their heroes, until they have, some of their levels on, like the Brewmaster, not really a hero that can do anything really until he's up to his level 6. The Lifestealer wants to just farm for that armlet.
Yeah.
And the Earth Spirit really has a hard time rolling against this Invoker, against the Centaur and Dazzle top lane, or even against the Ursa bottom, because he does have such a significant level advantage on the Panda. Does get a nice kill on EE, a little bit low on HP and gets rolled on kick, so a nice kill there, but I think NP's still fine with how their lanes are going, because they do get a kill on Valkyria bottom.
Yeah, watching that actually, I mean, it's kind of funny seeing that, the miss pop up, but ultimately he does do enough damage, stays on top of him, and actually gets the kill. But yeah, Brewmaster, so even with all that miss chance coming out, it's not going to be enough to survive, and Ursa able to just run him down with the Earth Shock right there. So well played by Aoi, and he's already winning the lane. Now on top of that, a kill, so yeah, that net worth, no surprise to see him up there. Second in the game. Ember Spirit, of course, tops. He did have that first blood. And on top of just great CS himself, better even than the Ursa. But pretty good contention there at the top in terms of the net worth and the CS here. But Brewmaster, it's going to be the mission of just simply trying to stay alive here as long as possible. Doom has also been doing a good job. He's been using these tornadoes here of the Wildwing Ripper that he's taken over and helping his farm in the jungle, so it seems like, again, pretty comfortable knowing what he's doing, and off to a decent start at least. He's level 5, soon to be level 6, and that's where he becomes pretty significant with that Doom ability, so GC makes it out. Oh, middle lane, they're going to go, actually. Gets the kill on Ember Spirit first with the Tornado, and now 2001 just kind of has to sit here, although Doom's running in, and actually 2001 might be in trouble. The silence comes out, but, oh yeah, he does, you're right, that's why. So slowed right there, so well played. 2-0.
Yeah, a nice kill there. Kataro getting a little bit over aggressive. I guess got Tornado down, was trying to maybe dodge. Okay, no, so he's even at a point in slight, so wasn't going to try and dodge Tornado on the wave, just gets a little over aggressive, gets right click down. As we said, once you have the phase boots on the Invoker, it starts getting a little harder for the Ember to not get harassed down. Kataro actually putting a little pressure right now, but yeah, Aoi actually going for the lane dominating build, so going 4 points in the Earth Shock instead of what you typically see, more points in the Fury Swipes to overpower. But versus Brewmaster, it's sort of hard to get those attacks in, so going for way more points in the Clap, has a 5-second cooldown, and whenever you max it, a 55% slow, so it's extremely hard for this Brew to stay in lane. Even if he doesn't get very many hits in on Aoi, misses most of his hits, he's still going to go down on this Brewmaster, so just has to totally leave the lane. He's still jungling now, so going this more lane dominating build, not something you typically see, but really working out for Aoi so far.
Oh, SVG getting a little greedy right there, and he's going to end up dying as everyone is so low on life here in the middle lane. You see Rubik, you see Ember. Invoker was saved, though, by the way, by Dazzle as he poured it in to put the shallow grave on him as he was about to die. Top lane, speaking of that, Lifestealer does go down to the Doom right there. It looks like MSS got low himself, so all over the place, a lot of action kicking in. but only ends up being a couple of kills. Ember Spirit trying to get the kill on a Eternal Envy. EMP going to be used, though. He's holding his ground right here. Searing Chin's pretty much forcing him to. Boulder Smash coming out, not going to hit, though. It does hit the Dazzle, but he does not have Shallow Grave, actually. Throws out a heal, though, and they turn kill on Ember Spirit. And now the Earth Spirit, he's regretting his decision big time. MSS with the hoof stop and the double edge to take him out. So a 2-for-0. Yeah, the greed is real here in the middle lane.
Yeah, you can feel Infamous really feeling the pressure. They know that they're losing most of their lanes. They really want to get something done, try and get a kill on EE, but just going a little too over-aggressive. The Ember Spirit going down again. So now after that really good start, had extremely high CS and getting the first blood, now below the Invoker, not really where you want to be in a game like this is the Ember Spirit. It's a hero that once you get that Veil online, you get a couple items, you just want to start fighting people, being that really, really slippery hero. And he can sort of be that this game, but Infamous is so bad at fighting into NP's lineup that I don't know how effective he'll be come this mid game. And especially with the Doom having such an amazing start at level 6 already with a headdress and arcane boots, so it looks like he's going for a quick mech.
Interesting.
Centaur having a good start as well, getting it. Oh,
are they trying to find him over? Yeah. Going to be able to collapse on top of him. Valkyra, he's just simply running. The top lane, there is stuff going on up there. That's what you're looking at. Running out the bottom lane, but the silence comes out on the Centaur, and now he's going to run right into Lifestealer, though, so he will end up dying. Back to the bottom lane, the Doom is put up, and Brewmaster ends up going down, so it does end up being a 1-for-1. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I didn't realize that Centaur was doing all those evasive movers at the top lane. It sounds like he almost survived, though, but obviously he did not in the long run.
Yeah, tried to kill the Rubik with just one hit away, but got lifted, thrown back, and then everybody TP'd in and ends up going down. So, in the meantime, they do get this bottom tower. Valkyra goes down again, only 300 gold, and just now hitting level 6. So, Brewmaster here you typically think of that wants to go fight early on with the split, but it's very hard for them to make anything happen, really. They can try and smoke him and the Earth Spirit somewhere, but forced to use his ulti now here, as Aoi already has a Blink Dagger on this Ursa, getting that tower and a couple of kills.
That's going to be enough follow-up damage, it looks like. And Ursa will go down off to the side. Dazzle, he had Shallow Grave, but he actually couldn't get it off in time. I can think it was CC'd in the background by Rubik, actually. So he puts it up right there, tries to TP out, ain't going to happen. And that will be the end of him. In fact, Super Vengeance is able to get the last hit as they pretty much let him. So ends up being a couple of kills there for Infamous at the bottom lane. Obviously the tower going down, but just fine with getting those couple of kills in return, especially on Aoi, who's been having a great start here to begin this game. So his first death now, and we'll see how he responds to that. But he does have the Blink Dagger, and obviously that's a scary item to see on the other side in the hands of the Ursa here.
Yeah, they're smoking up, looking for something. Looks like they're be running to the top, so don't want to give this tower up completely for free. But it's really hard to fight them now, as MSS has his hood up as well as the Tranquil, so very, very farmed. Rose almost has the mech, and sort of like we talked about, it's sort of playing almost this 4-4 lineup of having this Doom get a little bit more farm, sacrificing Aoi's farm a little bit, getting more active so the Doom can get online. But
oh, there's the vehicle. Not going to be enough, though, as obviously the Stampede has popped, and MSS trying to escape himself. Beefy, but not really the biggest escape. He will throw out the hoof stop, though, and he does have support nearby. SPD does have a Shallow Grave, if necessary. Down goes 2001 right there, the Earth Spirit, but down goes MSS on the Centaur. So SPG, he had Shallow Grave. I'm a little surprised he didn't use it right there. However, they're going for more as Rubik, he's going to definitely drop the MP if it connects it. But you see Invoker, he's actually going for the Brewmaster. Invoker finally falls in the background, but Brewmaster a little bit evasive right there. Not going to be taken out. Ursa, he went in, but quickly starts to fall back. Has the ultimate coming up in 10 seconds of the Enrage, and they're still going to chase somewhat. Purge is ready to go on Doom, but doesn't seem like they're going to be able to catch anyone right there. So looks like NP comes out on top of that fight, though, at the top lane.
yeah, the Dazzle only 1 point in Grave so far, so 1-1-3, the typical skill build you see. Sometimes you even see 2-0-3 depending on the game, but not able to get in range for the Grave, as he was stuck in the trees, buried behind a couple of heroes. So you could see him kind of wiggling there, getting pathing, trying to get back, but wasn't able to do it as Earth Spirit goes down behind this tower. So a nice kill for the Invoker, used the MP and then got all of his mana back. Has the Midas now as well. Looks like Ember goes down to the Doom, playing a little too over-aggressive, hitting this mid-tower stun, gets doomed up, Aoi blinks in, slowed, and then just goes down. So you see that Doom immediately going to use as they deny the top tower on Infamous, and NP immediately grouping back up mid, so we're going to start pressuring this tower. And even without the best of tower hitters, they have this Dazzle, They have the Invoker, who's not the worst in the world at killing these towers, but their 5-man is just so strong that Infamous just can't really come over here and fight them here or force them off the towers. They don't really have the greatest deep push. Rubik, their only hero that has decent deep push, and can just get jumped by the Ursa if he tries to defend the tower like that. So
Yeah.
even without an obvious tower hitter, NP very good at just forcing down these buildings.
He is trying to find somebody, but Ursa is not going to. Earth Spirit actually himself picking up the Invis rune and rotating in, but Aoi continues to blink away and going to keep his distance. But Earth Spirit getting some good information right here. We'll see if he finds an opening. Perhaps a setup for his team. Maybe in the Doom in the middle lane. Puts down an Observer Ward behind. And now Doom is going to just walk around. I feel like we're going to have initiation soon. No, it doesn't look like it, actually. They're starting to fall back, so maybe not all the up here. Ember Spirit is nearby doing the Radiant Ancients, but Earth Spirit still just hiding in the trees. NP playing like they almost know he's here. Yeah, they're going to spot him actually the last second. Out come the pings, and Earth Spirit immediately barrel rolls away and will TP out. So very curious decisions being made there, but NP unable to react in time and catch the Earth Spirit who was hanging out. I wanted to mention this as sure enough, okay, here they're going to, but Ursa, I was going to say, has a lot of potential, of course, to Roshan very early on in the game. Are you surprised it took this long to do Roshan, or does this make sense?
Not really. You typically want to Roshan as the Ursa whenever you feel it's safe. So they wanted to get some of these outer towers down first. Waiting until they see this life stealer down bottom and knowing that Infamous can't get past something crazy doesn't happen. They also probably wanted to wait for the mech on the Doom, maybe this hood on the Centaur, and just killing the Aegis whenever, or taking the Aegis whenever they're at the point where they want to fight. Not like a little too early where, okay, sure, it's nice because they can't really gank the Ursa on Infamous, but they weren't really going to be ganking him in the first place. So picking up the Aegis now is right around that time where they want to be 5-manning, they want to be invincible, so it pairs very well with their strong timings. As I was just able to push in this lane, there's nothing really they can do, and Infamous have a really hard time fighting here, as the Lifestealer is going to jump inside of the Earth Spirit and look for a gank inside that roll like we talked about. Not even level 6 on the Earth Spirit yet at 15 or 14 minutes.
Jeez.
So not the most kill potential here. Really only the Dazzle they can probably take down, as that's who they are going for.
They're going to try for it. Dazzles that target, but they can't even do so. In fact, yes, they can. The stun at the last second. Great ball dispatch right there. But at what cost for Earth Spirit? He's going to end up falling as Aoi jumps right and him starts smashing his face into the ground. Brewmaster running alongside Lifestealer. Ursa wants to go back in. Blink dagger in 1 second. Tornado's going to miss, but he will catch the Brewmaster nonetheless. However, the Spirit spawns now and looking at least push them back and say, fight me, bro. EMP going to be used. Catches at least the Storm Spirit there, or the Storm Element even. As going to pick him off, and eventually we'll come back together, but that will be the stop of that turnaround right there. But at least they got the 1 kill on the Earth Spirit, of course, in return for the Dazzle. But once again, maybe going to be grouping up. Yeah, now they really want to try to push this middle tower in and actually go for it. This is what you're talking about. Ursa blinks in the background, but actually cannot catch the Rubik. And they'll have to settle for the tower instead.
Yeah, he actually going for a little bit of an unconventional build, picking up the drums, even on this Quaslex Invoker build, not something we typically see nowadays. You'll go for the Midas sometimes. We saw Weeha going for the Vanguard at the China land. So, some interesting builds have been tried. People sort of fiddling with things, but drum's not an item you typically see nowadays. HOD has mostly just replaced it as far as the item that you want to have at least one of on your team, but not really anymore.
Yeah.
Drum's fallen quite a bit out of favor, and going to be going for the Yules next, so going to be very, very speedy, and just overall them building a lot of these team-oriented items, a lot of tankiness, and just sort of this unstoppable 5-man lineup.
Brewmaster doesn't have a problem split. They're going to go for a jump, though, and they do get the kill onto Ursa, but of course the Age is going to bring him right back up. Meanwhile, Doom activated his Doom on the Brewmaster in the background, and it should be able to take him down. A big hoof stop on 2 heroes, catches the kill on a Rubik, as well as Lifestealer. Now Aoi on the chase against Earth Spirit. Boulder smashes him away, but Aoi's just running right back at him. Unfortunately, unable to catch up to him as he just barrel rolls out of there. So they won't be able to chase further, but they'll settle for the secondary tower on top of the 3 hero kills that they just got prior to this. Of course, Aegis used, but that's a good use of the Aegis, I'm sure, if you ask them. So, yeah, interesting with the drums there. Of course, I'm sure helping as well, but kind of going back to what you're just suggesting there. As Ursa, he finds Ember, but not really any lockdown, so not going to be a catch. As Earth Spirit actually coming in, so maybe Ursa's the one in trouble. There's the hoof stop, though, and it was bait all along, baby. Tornado going to finish the job. And now Ember Spirit, though, he wants revenge.
Oh.
Brewmaster also coming in. Yeah, great catch right there on both. And they end up getting the kill. That was a Tornado from Rubik coming out. So the big Rubik plays, and they set up the kill, and a couple of cores actually, so very solid finish for Infamous there.
Yeah, even from behind, Ember Spirit, Lifestealer, very strong cores, especially this Ember Spirit. They're really only way they have to bring him down is him getting doomed and other heroes being nearby. So he's able to play, do mostly whatever he wants this game, let him move around and just farm up as much as he can. But it will sort of all be for naught for quite some time, as it's going to take quite a few items or some very good initiations from Infamous to get to the point where they can actually fight NP at any of these towers. And you can see them trying to get, getting kind of desperate, going onto the Ursa bottom, hoping maybe his team isn't behind him and he's just a little too far up. They can kill him twice or something. But all of NP was there. They take the fight. They get the tier 2. And with this draft that NP has, you can tell it's very pre-planned. They had this sort of a draft in mind, because you don't take an Invoker Doom first 2 unless you have something planned going into it. So going for this more of a 5-man lineup where everybody is sort of pretty farmed. Nobody's you're not farming up this one big core as the game goes later and later. So NP definitely want to keep up the pressures. None of the heroes scale amazingly well. As a lineup, they scale very well as 5-man, but their late game, not the best in the world. And the Ember Spirit will start to get a little intimidating as the game goes on.
Yeah, the bot's finished onto him, obviously with the Veil and the Blink Dagger already queued up. So Ember Spirit, Tatsuki is jumping up there at least. He's 5th in the game right now. In fact, 6th as he kind of bounced below Doom right there. So yeah, overall, not necessarily doing the best yet, but you always got to be worried about that. And the Lifesteal, though, on the other hand, we don't really talk too much about him, but yeah, the Echo Saber, the Armlet, another 1,000 gold saved up. He is the top net worth, actually, in this game right now. Yeah, I want to go back to, though, what I was going to bring up there. You mentioned how they get the drums even, and you talked about the Helm of the Dominators almost kind of replace it in a lot of ways, but are you surprised that they actually don't have a Helm of the Dominator? Speaking of that, here on Team NP?
I don't think it's the biggest deal because they do sort of have this Doom, so they have the creep part of that equation basically covered as NP going in. Ember Spirit caught a little bit out.
Is that enough damage, though? Oh, they go to the Remnant, but no, is not able to chase them down. Doom, he has his ultimate. Okay, they don't even need it, though. He actually saves it, and the Purge is enough to keep him slowed and secure that kill. So Doom was holding off on using the ultimate for a while right there. Pretty much confident that they were going to be able to pick him off, and, well, they were right. So good chase and big kill onto him, the Ember Spirit. But yeah, so you don't think it's that big of a deal, then, that they don't have a Helm of the Dominator?
Yeah, they have the Purge from the Doom, so it becomes a little redundant there. That's really the only creep that they want so much this game. The Alpha Wolf, not really great with their lineup. None of their heroes are proficient right-clickers. And just this Purge is really useful, as you can purge up the Ember Shield and just chase a lot of these heroes down, because they do sort of lack a little bit of catch if the Centaur has already used his Blink Stomp or what have you. So it's the Doom just picking up the Purge creep is enough for NP for now. He can pick up whatever creep later as the game goes on. So I don't think a Helm of the Dominators it's really necessary, as well as Ursa. Not really a hero that wants to pick it up too much. Ali really likes this Deso build, as it actually gives him some physical damage, and if he gets a Basher later on, almost always let him solo kill this Ember Spirit. Also quite good versus the Lifestealer is he doesn't have the most armor in the world until he gets an AC much later on.
Yeah, no, that Ursa's really scary now. No doubt when it comes to jumping a target and killing them quickly. Rubik does have a Blink Dagger himself, and here we go. There's the roll, the transport, and Fest pops out, but Doom, he just kind of walks it off right there. He does take a stun for the Boulder Smash, but he's still in a decent position to get away. They are going to chase him down, throw him up in the air. On the Brewmaster, and yeah, he's going to be locked down for the time being. EMP comes out, though, 2001 in the front lines, pops the Magnetize, but it's going to come at a cost with the positioning back here. Look at Ursa, as you mentioned. He just tears Ember Spirit a new one right there. That was basically 3 shots, it looked like. And they get the kill. That's a 2-for-0. And easy tower kill on top when they want to. Eternal Envy, though, he wants more, damn it. No Primal Split, obviously, on Brewmaster now. And that means an easy kill to follow. So they even get him. And there's the easy tower kill on top of that. So NP, that's a very decisive fight. And that feels like a fight that's really just starting to put them too far ahead now for Infamous.
Yeah, whenever you pick up a lineup like this for Infamous, that they realized, they kind of wanted to just play normal Dota, picking up the Ember Spirit, the Rubik, the MP, responding with just these extremely strong 5-man first 2 heroes, and continuing to build upon that. Infamous kind of tried to split the difference, picked up the Lifestealer, thinking, okay, they're just, going to pick normal heroes after this kind of a strange start. Then MP, picking up more of these 5-man heroes, so they felt compelled to pick the Brewmaster, a hero that, can be good for these team fights, but whenever the rest of your team is really bad at team fighting, then into this NP lineup, then it just sort of becomes, not really enough. You're picking this teamfight hero that, gives you some strong teamfight, but it's not enough. You can never really fight them, so it doesn't matter if you have a strong teamfight hero because you're never gonna be able to fight.
Yeah, the synergy just is not there. So Infamous, they lose Earth Spirit as well once again. The jumps are just too strong. They got several blink daggers, obviously, that just keep catching them, especially with the hoof stomp. Then he mentioned, and we've seen several times though with the Ursa, he gets on top of a target and just drops anyone. It feels like a matter of a couple of shots. So Infamous, they are going to be able to hold off the middle siege attempt right here. But it's only 22.5 minutes in, so not too surprising. Instead, NP will go right back for the shrines, at least the bottom shrine for now, and take that out first. Doom already has the Guardian Griefs finished, so yeah, again, really playing this kind of utility hero for the team. That on top of the Dominating Grief, the Purge that he's had basically since the beginning of this game. Now, I'm a little bit curious about that. We talked about he has a Purge. You said in this early game, at least that's been useful. When does he transition to maybe like an Alpha Wolf or something like that with the aura?
I don't really think he needs to for quite some time. I think the next creep would probably get is the Ice Ogre armor. Once this lifesteal gets to a point where his damage is kind of scary, but that'll be quite some time as they have the Solar Crest online already. The Doom having Guardian Greaves, they already have plenty of armor, so I don't think he needs to switch to some creep out anytime soon.
Yeah. Oh, Ursa jumped right into a trap, but no, out comes a Shallow Grave. He's like, I got the kill on a Rubik right there. Earth Spirit dies as well, and now Lifestealer, he's doomed up. That means he's dead. He does not have a buyback either, as he's just going to go for the turn kill on a Dazzle, but it's still not enough, actually. Dazzle manages to escape. That was big. Out comes the pipe and the heal on top of that, and he survives. The Ruth Owner is up on another Shallow Grave. SPG's on fire, was saving the whole team. There's the defensive weave, and even a Turtle Envy in the backline. This is going to be a complete cleanup. They take out Brewmaster. That fight, I got to say, was 100% Dazzle right there, keeping everyone alive, it felt like, for the whole fight.
Yeah, and like we talked about in the draft, whenever you have this Life Stealer and you want to blow up individual heroes at the start of the fight, that's sort of your only real fight win condition. Because NP's team fight as the fights go longer and longer is just too strong that this Dazzle just counters it so hard, having the Solar Crest, the Grave, they jump the Ursa and almost bring him down, which could possibly give them a way to fight, but he gets Grave, they just turn the fight around, and there's no way they can fight into them whenever NP's heroes, are surviving. And we, like we talked about, they want to get a lot of their heroes farmed. You look at the net worth graph, 4 of NP's heroes in the top 5, the Lifestealer just barely above the Centaur and Doom, whereas, Infamous supporting cast at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Especially that Brewmaster too. Yeah, the Blink Dagger, again, that's like a key item for sure, but he really just doesn't have much else, and he is going to be working on the Ags here, and CCNC, if you want to refresh everyone out there, because I know, of course, but what does the Axe do on Brewmaster? Just to reinforce.
It gives his pandas. It gives one of the pandas, or each of the pandas, one of his skills. So the green one gets the Thunderclap, the storm one gets the Drunken Haze, and then the fire one gets the crit. So it gives us some nice utility there. You can get 2 claps off in a fight. You can Drunken Haze multiple units, although I don't think that's the most useful this game. Is really the only hero you want to Drunken Haze is this Ursa. And the crit, it is some nice damage sometimes, but they just have such a hard time team fighting that it's a nice item just in general, but I don't know if it'll have the most impact this game once he does complete it, as they are just so far behind and their team fight is so deficient to enemies.
Yeah. All right, well, working on it, so we'll see if he's able to get in, what kind of impact that truly does have. I mean, they're trying to push out this bottom first tower while Ursa is going to drop Roshan, and they're going to be able to defend this if they want to. I mean, it's the first tower. There's a TP coming in from Doom at least, and they're going to try to defend at least, and there's the open. The Doom onto Ember Spirit. Follow-up lockdown. The Purge comes out, and he's dead. Yeah. Oh, Doom was stolen. You're right. Yeah, Rubik got it in the background. See if he can make a play with that. As Earth Spirit, that was a very ambitious dive by him. The Doom is going to be used on Centaur, by the way, but that's not going to save Rubik. Or maybe it is the Blink Dagger at the last second. But out comes the Q from Dazzle. The Sunstrike, not even necessary. They do finish him off. So the attempts right there from Rubik to make some big plays, unfortunately coming up short. And another fight for Infamous, just not going their way. This late just getting out of hand for Team NP. And wouldn't be surprised if they try to actually siege into the base now with that Aegis on Ursa here.
Yeah, picking up a gem now on the Dazzle as well, so making sure that Infamous doesn't have any great vision for these fights. They aren't able to fight with wards and take any fight that way, so continuing to just bolster their advantages. EE get a little fancy in the base. Valkyria out of mana and no stick charges. He's going to shrine up, so should be able to get the ultimate off if necessary, but gets bursted down.
Deafening blast, and then there we go. They finish off Earth Spirit. Yeah, he couldn't even get it off. And there's the rack skill on top. I think Infamous is going to be thinking about throwing in that Dell here soon, because this is just a little out of control now for NP, or it's been so for a while. And again, this is a lineup that was built around the idea of the snowball effect. Look at that, Ember Spirit, he finds, or Ursa finds Ember Spirit, that is, and Taitsuka's just in panic mode. He's trying to get the Remnants to get out of there. He will actually be successful. That was a good stun there by Rubik, but he actually ends up dying. He saves his Ember at least, but now Livestealer also going to get caught. He's dead, no buyback, and I'm sure those GG's going to be pouring out any second. There we go. It will be official. Game 1 goes to Team NP over Infamous here. Pretty decisive victory, man.
Yeah, the draft, they picked these very strong 5-man heroes early on and then sort of kept what their lanes were quite well hidden. So as the draft went longer and longer, Infamous not really sure what was going to happen with the last pick, Ursa shoring up all their lanes, so basically winning all 3 lanes. And whenever you lose all 3 lanes versus a 5-man lineup like this, things can't go amazingly well. As they have the capability to just walk down these lanes and take your towers. You aren't strong enough to fight them at the towers or split push and trade. So NP getting the lane setup they needed to have a good start in this game, and they really did, just sort of ran over Infamous.
Do you think that Doom actually ended up, I mean, obviously they won the game in the end. He went 6-0-17, so Rose played the hero fantastic. Did the Doom work out as you thought, or maybe as you would have expected if they wanted to win the game? Like, was that the game plan and they made it work?
Yeah, I think whenever you pick a hero like this Doom, you have a specific strat built around it. You think this lineup is particularly good versus Ember, and lineups that Ember is typically in. So I think NP would be trying out a strat, trying out an answer for this Ember Spirit versus a lesser team, not like the complexity wanted, those types of teams. So it does work out, and I think NP may use this in the future, as they seem pretty comfortable playing this lineup. And I think a lot of their, just sort of how their team is structured is a lot around like playing teamwork, playing these very team-oriented lineups, not so much around like this Miracle style of give Miracle an amazing hero and everybody support him and let him do his thing, play around a specific hero. It's more of let the team function as a unit.
Yeah. It's fun to watch, but for Infamous, not so fun. They're going to have to figure something out in game number 2, because game 1 definitely favoring NP quite a bit, and we'll see what kind of response they do have. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by CCNC here. We got game number 2 coming up for the Starletter I-League Star Series American Qualifiers. We'll be right back.